you do begin to collectively see this new vision of what the university can be through this accumulation of these different programs and projects that are really taking best advantage of where the future is, technology, but also the customization and the optimization, I would say, of what we do in education. What I want to do, first of all, is thank others who are in this core group for educational innovations, Jeff Russell, Mo Noonan-Bischoff, Maury Cotter, Joanne Berg, Bruce Moss, Jocelyn Milner, Sarah Fodaker, Linda Jorn, and Katie Duran. Some of them are here and some of them are not, but please give me a round of applause. If you start thinking about customization and optimization, and you begin to then strip away what is essentially the knowledge transfer part of education, what I want to also introduce to you is the idea of what's left. After you communicate information, the best part is helping students work with information, create new information through research, integrate information, apply it in new settings, do problem solving. And I think that will become the future, the universities that survive, that aren't Netflix U, will be customizable and optimized around helping students work with information, and that will be really the centerpiece of higher education. So what I want to say briefly, and then we're going to set up a video that we have for you, is we've come a really long way with the Educational Innovation Campaign. The Chancellor began talking about this in late August. In 6 short months, we have really come from our initial conversations where we would give a talk like this and half the audience would kind of look at you like, I don't understand what you're talking about. We've gone from that stage to generating lots of really interesting ideas, to the stage we're in right now, which is much more about taking ideas now and developing them and nurturing them. And you heard some of them here. 2 more that I want to describe to you real briefly. One is we heard from early on, one of the barriers is the course approval process. With leadership from Jocelyn Milner and Andrea Palin, we now have an automated course approval process that is almost ready to go, and by the end of this semester and certainly by the summer, this is going to be a new piece that we have as part of our campus, which is just a fantastic thing. The second is just last night in my inbox came a proposal from ComDis, from Communicative Disorders, on a capstone certificate program that will allow students to better transition from an undergraduate, whatever their undergraduate major is, into audiology and speech pathology. Just exactly the kind of proposals that we really are hoping to see. We've done this through a couple key principles. One is taking advantage of the entrepreneurial and creative spirit that we have as a campus and our collective decision making, really grabbing hold of shared governance and also thinking like a department, not thinking, moving from the independent contractor to more of a collective decision making. Second is working out mechanisms to reinvest savings and capacities back into the units that are generating them. In the old days, which was last summer, we would ask campus to find savings or cut back on processes, and then we would grab all those savings and we would then redistribute them out. And we said, we can't do this. What's the incentive for departments, for units to make changes if they're not benefiting directly from those savings? So helping reinvest, establishing processes to reinvest. And the third is as a central campus, really us being committed to push on practices, policies, and business models that have been sort of getting in our own way. And we've really done this. And as a matter of fact, what we've discovered is easily 95% of the barriers are things we do to ourselves. we're actually much more restrictive in our practices than the policies that we think are governing those practices. So I'm going to urge you, if you've got ideas, to really push them, to talk to us, and we'll help you push those practices. We have a website that we've developed which has become a really rich source of information for people, and one of the things that we've done is develop some video stories to help share the information, like these flash talks, on what's happened, and we have a little trailer that we have here. It's not perfect yet, but we wanted to show it to you now. It's really actually fantastic, and we've got 7 stories, is that right, that are on the website. I'll show you where they are in a moment. But let me cue up the video.
We now have 2 decades of research that confirms that online learning outcomes, blended learning outcomes, and face-to-face learning outcomes can be of equal quality. The differences in quality tend to be more about design and implementation and not so much about technology.
Realizing the benefits in terms of my own time management and seeing that the way that it does in fact allow for different sorts and in many cases improve student learning, I became a convert.
How I teach online has really affected how I do those lectures. I think more about me standing in front of a large group and lecturing, and it just doesn't feel quite right anymore.
We're spending more time in the classroom doing active exercises and things. They were learning more than just once a week in the classroom. So that got us into this shift where what we called it at the time was reversing the lecture homework paradigm.
What really works for us are finding faculty who see and value the importance of connecting with industry, with practicing professionals, and see how that connection benefits their teaching on campus and their research.
What goals do you have for your students? That is, what is it that you want them to be able to know and do by the time they've finished your class, or your learning experience, or your program of study?
An important consideration in realigning departments is that through realignment, you can actually achieve a degree of interdisciplinarity by design that perhaps you hadn't been able to do through random recruitments.
We emphasize quality, so we set the bar for entry quite high. Our program is very competitive, and so people feel and understand that they're getting a program that is equivalent in value and quality.
We've retained most of our faculty for the full 10 years. Almost everyone who's with us at the beginning is still with us. And there's also the less, it may be more personal than it is academic, but people who are leaders in their field are really concerned about where the next generation of leaders is going to come from. And I really found that to be very relevant to what we were doing.
So, we've already. Ron Kramer and DeWitt did a terrific job pulling this together in such quick notice. So, thank you. Can we put up the? Okay, good. So we have a website now. You can get to it through the homepage. Yeah, go ahead and click on it. This is the front page of our website, and what we've. Can you hear me if I yell loud enough? Yeah. Okay. All right. Along the top are the tabs. Okay. Thank you. Along the top are these tabs that will help you identify the resources that we've got. We have many questions that come in. We're trying to generate FAQs to answer questions. We're finding that a lot of the process here is an educational process. How does a course approval process work, for example? Or can you use 104 or 131 funds for this purpose or only this purpose, and how does a J term or a January term work. So we have lots of FAQs. If you click, can you click on FAQ, and we'll just show you that there's a bunch of them, and they keep going every day. Click on each of those, and you'll get the answers to them. The other one I want to send you to is resources. In addition to some basic descriptive information about educational innovation, we now have information about various kinds of funding sources and models available, online and blended learning resources, etc. So and this is building as well. We'll soon have information on course redesign and curricular redesign. In addition, in this corner are some of the video interviews that you can look at, and instead of reading material, you can listen to people talk about their programs. Lastly, I want to say that actually this has been a very energizing 6 months, and as the Chancellor has described, this next several years is going to be just a significant change. If you know me, I am an optimistic person. Some people say fatally optimistic, but I really feel very optimistic about our own future. In a relatively quick amount of time, we've really begun to reorient to this new way of thinking about our campus and integrating a kind of cost consciousness and quality consciousness into the decision-making we're doing and the group decision-making we're doing, which is fantastic. So to continue to get involved, we have a couple workshops coming up. These are now, again, in the stage of nurturing and developing projects. On April 10th and 11th, we have 2 workshops related to online learning and blended delivery. On April 17th, we have a workshop on curricular redesign. We have a track in the Teaching and Learning Symposium, which is May 23rd and 24th, where we'll talk about educational innovation and sharing ideas. And the Teaching Academy Summer Institute, which is June, right? June 4th and through 7th. We're actually taking applications that just opened right now to have an intensive week working on a project that you want to work on for the fall. So thank you all very much for all the work that you're putting into this. This is hard work. This is, and some of us, not the work we signed up for, but it's the work we really have to do in order to keep ourselves strong, not only in our teaching, but our research and our service position in the world.